Hey guys, welcome to Tea Time with B and Kit. We're here to spill the tea, mostly on ourselves, because healing is messy.
And sometimes it's hilarious.
And today we're going to be talking about something that doesn't get enough attention. That's the price of being the black sheep daughter.
Girl, yes. And if you guys can't tell already, B and I are the Black Sheep Daughters.
Absolutely.
So who decides that you're a black sheep? We're gonna go ahead and start right here. And honestly, no one wakes up and say, "Oh, I'm gonna be the black sheep today."
No, you don't choose.
And nobody says, "Oh, I'm gonna be the family disappointment. I'm going to be the one who sets off on my own path." That title usually gets assigned to you because you ask questions, you set boundaries.
Yep.
You don't pretend everything is fine. And you also leave. You don't tolerate being less than.
No.
You heal and you choose differently. So B.
Yeah. This is going to be a bit, I don't know, emotional one, I think.
I think usually, I would hope that every minority woman, I'm speaking about being an Indian woman here, we go through our lives and we're taught to be a certain way. We're taught to go at society. We're taught that being a certain way is looked upon as amazing and good. And if you're something else, then you're considered bad. But I just remember my childhood always feeling like I was different. I looked different. I acted different. If I was trying to be into my culture, I didn't fit in because I was not cultured enough. And then it was like, no matter what I did something different. And it was like even career path or just asking questions. I remember I would ask my mom questions about like religion or culture, and they're like, "Don't ask me why. This is that something we just did." And so I think when you start recognizing the patterns, and of course at some point, especially when you're younger, and I was a people pleaser, and recognizing the pattern of no, it doesn't feel right, or being okay to be judged. Because either way, I think in our culture, there's judgment there.
I mean, there's judgment as soon as the baby is born. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. But I feel like sometimes you feel like you're born different. You have a different outlook at life. You question things differently. You may be even more emotional. And some people think, oh, you're emotional, you just get upset. But you could just be like, get triggered. Like emotional in the sense that you get angry quicker, you get irritated. That shows up. And sometimes being a black sheep could mean that you're more artistic. And that's also like not fitting in the forms of what is required to be successful in your family. And then we have
You mentioned artistic, and I do.
we're talking about artistic, not autistic.
Yeah, artistic. And
Yeah.
one thing that B and I, we were both artistic. Like her and I were both designers.
I mean, girl, I've been artistic since like school, like with music and singing and dancing. So art, any form of art has been in my life for the longest time. I will say that that kind of art in my family and our bloodline has continued from like my uncles, my mum, my aunts, my cousins, and I want to be able to share that with my children too. But there are some people that just don't.
Yeah, they think that academics is a way to go, especially within our culture.
Yeah. And when you push those boundaries, when you start asking questions, when you change trajectory of the norm, you're then classed as the difficult one. So this is what we're here today to talk about our experiences.
And I think that a lot of times you're different when you work on yourself. You're different when you go to therapy. You're different when you want to emotionally regulate. You're different that you want peace and you don't thrive in that chaos and
because
drama.
Especially in the Indian, back in the day, therapy was like you had a mental issue and it was like there's something wrong with you. Whereas nowadays, I applaud people when they go to therapy because I'm like, that's a great way for you to offload and get perspective. And back in the day, it was like, oh, she goes to therapy. There must be something mentally wrong with her.
And I agree with that because I feel like it's such a bad stigma that they put on it. And I think usually the ones who need it the most are the ones who don't seek it. And so, and just being in a culture that can be chaotic and can be toxic is so detrimental in who you are because if you're a perfectionist, then you'll never be enough. If you're always competing and you're vetted against each other, you'll never be enough. No. And I think recognizing that for me, I think my biggest recognition was that, and like, I don't want people to feel bad for me, or I don't feel bad for me, but like recognizing that I'm not like my family's favorite. I am the one who that they go to, you know? But I think recognizing that, like, I know that my brother's my mom's favorite and my sister's my dad's favorite. And like, when I recognized that and I understood that, I think that for me, I became my own favorite. And I think that that's so deep when you realize that and you enjoy you and you decide that I don't care. I'm impressing myself. I think that's when you start making those changes in your life.
I would like to say that I'm not going to say that I was never a favorite. I think I was my dad's favorite. But I don't think I was my mom's.
You know, and it's hard to recognizing this, and it's hard taking that in, especially like being raised in a culture that you want to be that person's favorite. And I think at some point or another, for me, I recognize now, and I think my parents recognize it now because like they now feel bad, but it was more of they didn't think that I was going to accomplish anything. They didn't think that I was going to be successful. They thought that I was just going to be existing. And I think that that was like a hard recognition of, oh, she's just there. Or, oh, they don't care about my education because they invested so much in the other two. And I'm proud of who I am now. Like, I've done leadership roles. I've been published in articles, magazines. I've been in the forefront of things. I'm very successful in my career. And who I am is very, like, I'm proud of myself. And I think that's kind of like why I know that I am a black sheep, but I embrace it. I embrace being original. And it took a lot of work to realize that. And the impacts that it did cause me during that time, but it also made me persevere. And like similarly to you, Fee, like you are so different than your family and you persevere so much and you keep on persevering and you are similar to me. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of similarities and it's just, I'm not saying like a parent has like a favorite, but like my brother got put on a pedestal because he was born first and he was the son. So they had their heir, so they had him. And then I came along and it was like, well, you had one of each. So take it as a blessing, done. And yeah, I felt like I was daddy's little princess, but I still felt like I had to fight for that position against my brother. growing up, and even I'm 44, my brother's 3 years older than me, and I still feel like that. And then when I first got married to Jasmine's dad, I wasn't his favorite. Like, your partner should be your husband, your partner, your forever person should be your favorite.
Mm-hmm.
And I was never given that from him. And then my ex-husband now, just the same. I was never his favorite. And then I know we feel like, and I know you said that you, after like going through all that hardship, now you're like, fuck that. I'm my own favorite. But there is that part of me which 100%, like, I'm my favorite. Only we know the shit that we had to go through, because eventually there comes a time where you're like, fuck this, I'm not gonna fight for attention.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be given accolades. I don't want to be giving it any of that, because you didn't see my value when then. Why the fuck do you give a shit about my value now? Right? So now I'm cool being on my own. I don't need that attention from people. I don't want them to give me that validation that I am their favorite. But there is that part of me where I'm just like, is that not one person? Because my daughter is grown and has her person, right? Yeah, my 3 boys need me, but I am probably their favorite.
I mean, I was gonna say, I was like, I ask these boys all the time. I'm like, oh, who do you love the most? And I even asked her twins, and thinking that they're gonna point to each other, and they're literally saying, my mom, my mommy.
No, I get that, but they're children and they're innocent, right? They're young, and I've done everything from them since jump, right?
But they can choose the other parent over.
No, absolutely they can. But I just feel like grown adults I'm talking about, you know? It's like, never had that. Like, you are my favorite. Like, I'm not gonna.
Well, you're my favorite person, babe.
Oh,
And so I'm like,
no, you're my favorite too. But I'm saying, like,
yeah, like you want it from like a partner or like somebody. Yeah, I get it.
yeah, and I'm just like, the people or person that you expect it from never got that.
You know what I think too, and this is another, like, people are going to treat you the way you treat yourself. And I think that we grew up being invisible.
Yeah, so you
we
always behind the scenes.
And I think then, but I think now, we allow ourselves to shine,
Yeah.
but we don't allow access to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the difference is now, is that we know that we were always meant for something different and big. And we want to be like, we naturally, our auras shine, and we were suppressing ourselves for so long. And I think now that the people who we allow in our lives choose us and are there for us, and I think that that's really important to recognize, is that I grew up invisible. I remember this one time when I was a child, me and my sister playing hide and seek, and gosh, she forgot about me. I was like hiding in my closet. It's not that hard. But I think she did on purpose, and I like literally fell asleep in there. She never came and found me. I woke up, I was in my closet still. And it's like stuff like that. Like, I had a lot of different elements that happened to me in life to recognize now that I was invisible. But I think that recognizing what I went through and no longer tying that identity to me, being like, you know what? That version of me, I did experience that and I acknowledge it, but I do not accept it anymore, is really powerful. But I really want to go back to what black sheep means. And so,
yeah,
what black sheep means is, like we kind of named, is feeling misunderstood, constantly having to explain yourself,
I do that all the time.
grieving people who are still alive.
Yep.
Wondering if you're the problem.
I mean, I've stopped doing that.
Carrying guilt when you choose for choosing peace.
Yeah.
And you become the daughter who feels like she has to earn love instead of just simply receiving it.
Yeah. And that doesn't just go, it stems off with your upbringing, but then that like falls into how you become, like how you grow, and then it affects your relationships. So then you want to earn somebody else's affection when it should just be given to you. And you will do everything in your power. You change yourself, you do everything, you lay your life on the line, and it's still not good enough.
I think because that type of love is the only love that we know at that time.
Yeah, I just won't do it anymore.
Yeah, and it becomes comfortable.
Yeah.
But when you realize
that's the only thing you know, you're conditioned to know that.
And it equates to being comfortable. It doesn't mean it's right, but that's what it equates to.
Absolutely. And then you become so hyper independent because asking for help hasn't always felt safe. I don't ask anybody for anything unless I am stuck.
Mm-hmm.
If I know that I need help with my kids, I figure it out.
Yeah.
I do it. I cancel my plans. I will drop a kid off, go this, run errands, and then I'm just like a chicken with its head cut off. Mm-hmm. I will not ask for help. I run a whole household. I can run businesses and manage my kids with no one.
Yeah.
And it's not asking for help. You become so hyper independent that when someone offers you help, I'm like, oh God, no, like I could never do that. Like, I don't want to burden you by asking you for help, but I'm more than willing to help everybody else. You know, I'm the first one to put my hand up if somebody's in a crisis of any kind. And then because of that, you become successful because achievement feels safer than being vulnerable. Yeah. And I'm going to toot my horn. Like, I was never given the opportunity to, how can I say this? To not make my own choices without it passing through the right channels. And so when I moved to America, I was given basically the keys to my life, and I became successful. I made a name for myself. And that's when the light bulb went off, and I was like, shit, girl, you can do it. And it's insane. And like I said, I'm the first one to say I will help, but then you're the caretaker. Yep. And that's what I've become. You become the fixer. Yep. The peacemaker. Yep. And then one day you have that epiphany of like, who's taking care of you?
You know, I had that epiphany. So before I started my whole self-love journey, I was like in a rock and a hard place, right? So I was like trying to appease that toxic relationship I was in, trying to fix my toxic family relationship dynamics I was in, and I barely had any friends. And I got to the point where every single time any one of them needed me, I would bend over backwards.
Oh, I know that feeling.
But then when I needed help, I didn't have anybody.
Yeah.
And I remember telling that specifically to that ex, and I was like, he was like, well, why? And I told him, I was like, when you fall, I catch you, but when I fall, I have to catch myself.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's messed up.
And that is messed up. You just get so tired of no one helping you and being there just to take care of you. So you become, as we mentioned, hyper independent. You don't depend on anyone.
I don't.
You become more lonely because you're like, okay,
you isolate yourself because you can't rely on anyone. And it's not because you didn't ask, because when there have been times when they can clearly see that you need help, nobody offers. So that also puts you in a position where you didn't offer and you knew that I needed you, and you still didn't volunteer yourself. So why would I? You don't come across as a reliable person that I can lean on.
No, I think being a black sheep, you start recognizing patterns and you start embracing being different, and you start embracing yourself and your peace and working on yourself.
Yep.
But yeah, so being a black sheep, you realize that your family systems don't like to change.
Oh,
So one thing that, therapy, working on myself has taught me that families, they operate like ecosystems. Everyone has a role. You have a peacemaker, you have the favorite, you have the invisible one, you have all of these different, you have like a hero, a rebel, a black sheep. And when one person changes, everyone has to adjust. People don't like adjusting. And I remember when I started changing my family dynamics, I was always the peacemaker, the one who said yes, the one who helped out everyone. And in my family, they deemed me as the dumb one. She was pretty, but she was dumb. And I was not going to accomplish anything to myself. And I always needed to lean in. I feel like I was so controlled until I had enough. I was controlled to the point where even my school classes were chosen out by my family members because, and I'm like, why did I take Latin? I should have taken Spanish. I utilize Spanish a lot more than I would have Latin, a language that no one speaks. Or I didn't do the sports I wanted to do because of family or whatever, the cases may be. And I didn't have my own mindset until I got away. As to B's point is when she came here, it was an escape. I feel like for me, my escape was when I went to Texas State and I made a decision for myself on what I was going to study, the classes I decided to do. And I started making bolder choices to be closer to who I am. And I remember also just
excuse
little
me.
things in my family. Like I would say this about myself and then it would just be like more of that, oh, that's not you. That's not you. But they would have to start shifting.
Yeah. Being black sheep, you can't even heal. You can't even heal in peace because that feels like you're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And then you can't grow. And then because then you expose their expectations. You can't grow in your own in how you want to.
Yeah.
And then that just creates drama and chaos. And I mean, back in the day, there was no such thing as boundaries, right? So once you learn about those, people get offended and their nose is bent out of shape because you're putting boundaries in place because you know who you are. And everyone just, it's a very unfamiliar setting for everyone and it's very awkward. And I mean, I miss my family, but it's a blessing I live in America.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, because when I moved back and I had my boys, I was expecting so much, but it wasn't so much. I was expecting the bare minimum and I didn't get it. And then I was like, okay, you just got to handle that shit on your own, girl.
I think also it's what I realized too is when they don't have when they don't when they can no longer control you, they no longer have that reason sometimes for you. And so, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that,
Yeah, because I'm not a yes man anymore. I just remember the amount of times I've been a yes man, and I mean for my family, and then like subsequent in laws. I'm like, that got me nowhere. They didn't give me any extra praise. It didn't make me feel any more special or give me any kind of acceptance just because I was a yes man. They just was like, oh, she listens and she does as she's told. She's a good girl. And I'm just like,
Yeah.
as soon as I started to, excuse me, as soon as I started saying no or not agreeing with my family or subsequent in laws or people in general, it's like, oh, she's got a mouth on her now. Oh, she's learned how to talk. She found her voice. I always had a voice. Because when I did speak up, you'd say, you don't do that. Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
And then you just go back into your shell again. And you become a yes man. But now I'm just like, fuck that. I will happily wear the black sheep t-shirt for the rest of my fucking life and have that label than fucking just be a yes man just to like appease you.
And you know the funniest thing about all of this is I think about all of these, like all of the people who judge me. Like it's usually like the elderly, the so like aunties, the uncles, and all
Oh
that.
yeah, fuck them.
And they could talk. They talk all this shit about the way
all the shit.
I dress, the way I look, the way I did my makeup, the way whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, I tell my parents this all the time, and I was like, your friends can sit there and judge me and tell me I look a certain way, tell me I do this, tell me I do that. And I was like, in the end of the day, who's here taking care of you guys? Like, who's here being present? Who's here doing this, you know? And like, same with you, B. Like, you're so present and you take care and you help out, you know?
Yeah, but I'm just like, not anymore. And then it's the aunties that talk shit. You ain't got a fucking clue. Like, their home lives, their families are crumbling before their eyes.
Yeah.
And you're quick to judge somebody else's daughter.
Like, don't judge. Don't
stop.
judge. Like,
Keep that shit to yourself. It's not cute.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, like, I just think that judgment and all that, people are going to go and live their own lives.
Yeah.
And that's all you can do is just kind of like drop the fucking judgment. Like, that's it.
Yeah. And like, fucking wax it up a little, auntie. Like, what the fuck?
I mean, and B made a good point too about expectations. I think that at some point in your journey, the guilt keeps you. And you start having guilt about stepping out, not being controlled, grieving you for that relationships you hoped you had. And you stop chasing approvals, but you kind of like wish you still had it.
Yeah.
But you know, honestly, like I think that we forget a lot of times is that for me, I think about like what's the worst thing that can happen? Like I don't talk to my family. Okay, cute. But in the end of the day is like both of those things can exist. You can love your family, but you can also protect yourself. And you can forgive them without giving them unlimited access to you. You limit the access, you set those boundaries. And you can honor your parents, your family, without abandoning yourself. And I think all of this is very important
to just full circle. Yeah.
Recognize like when you do that, you are choosing you and you are saying, no more, I'm not going to tolerate feeling less than anymore. And being and chasing after your approval, seeking that constant validation from you. Because in the end of the, what purpose is it serving you? Yeah. You're miserable. You don't have your voice, you're silent. You're constantly seeking approval and they're never going to give it to you.
Yeah, there's no connection like whatsoever. And it's sad. Mm-hmm. But I mean, there is an awful lot of guilt that the black sheep daughter does carry. But then there's the flip side. You know, black sheep daughters become like phenomenal leaders and incredible mothers, I can say. I can take my own horn on that. And powerful entrepreneurs
100%.
because again, it takes a special kind of someone to be an entrepreneur in the first place.
Yep.
But to be a female entrepreneur and have that mindset, 100%. Like, I mean, we both know.
Yeah, I mean, we've both owned several different businesses.
And then I feel like we are the most compassionate of friends you can ever meet because we know what it feels like to be the black sheep, and we would never want someone to feel like that in a friendship or a relationship. And then it's because of like how we've spent our lives that way, we learn how to survive emotionally. And so much shit has happened in my life, and it would have either sent me to the loony bin or an early grave if I was anybody else. And I'm still here smiling.
I was thinking the same thing kind of. I was like just going, I've been through a lot, like you've been through a lot. And I think that B and I are some of the most compassionate and kind people that you'll meet. And I think that part of what makes us so compassionate and kind is that we see people for who they are and we meet them where they're at. And
we give the grace.
Yeah. And I think that we actually see people, whereas a lot of times when you're the black sheep, you're not seen, you're not heard, you're invisible. And
God, yeah.
Being seen and heard by somebody is such a special feeling that
it will give you space.
It will make you feel loved. And I think that every life form on this earth values love.
Yeah. And I'm not saying I wasn't loved as a child.
No, yeah.
It was all conditional. And I have these conversations now, and then I get pushback. Well, that's not the case, and we gave you everything, and and it's never a dig to my parents or my family. It's just, this is my truth, and this is how I felt, and I want you to know that because we are family. And it's always, they feel like it's very combative, so I just stopped talking about it now.
I mean, no, I think my parents feel bad a lot of the times because it's like I mention things to them, but at the end of the day, what I'm proud about from being a black sheep is that I am a cycle breaker. I'm not perfect, but I no longer tolerate being less than. I no longer tolerate half of the stuff I ever would have. And guys, like I'm so comfortable being uncomfortable and being myself and at peace that I think both B and I, we are at this like place that we're both like, we're generational curse breakers. It stops with us.
I just feel like I don't want to spend the next 44 years of my life having to walk on eggshells. I want to be able to live the next 44 years of my life with just full on, like, I want to use, like, just be on like a high the entire time, like happy and like achieving all these things and just having fun and all these experiences and having the right people around me. And and literally we're just having this conversation earlier, like, I have one life and I'm going to do what I can for my best interests. Right. And you can either join me on my journey.
That's exactly it.
And bring something with you to amplify it to the next level, like we do with Kit and I, we do the same. Or you don't.
I think a big life lesson that I learned is that, as B mentioned, life is so short. And I think that when you think back to it, I don't want to wake up one day and be like, I did not experience life.
Yeah, you don't want to be shoulda, woulda, coulda.
No.
Like, no. I look at my mum and I've looked at my aunts and my grandmothers and like older family members, and I'm like, you lot have done nothing. Like, granted, you worked your asses off and you paid for weddings and uni fees and cars and bought houses and went to India a billion times and bought gold.
Yeah.
But put all of that aside. Did you go on holiday with your girlfriends? Did you go and do experiences? Did you make time for yourself? Did you do anything where you felt proud of that this was your achievement? No.
No.
And I'm like, what the fuck? Maybe like one or two aunts have actually achieved something. Everybody else is just like, eh,
Like, I think now that's like the fear of mine is like not living, just existing. And I think
oh,
that
absolutely, absolutely, yeah.
I don't want to wake up one day and be like, oh my gosh, like be so like be at a place where I'm like, I never lived.
Yeah.
I wanted this was always on my bucket list. This was always on my bucket list, but I never got it done. Like, and I don't want to be at that age where I'm like so old that I can't experience life. I think that life should be lived and it should be lived fully.
Yeah, what are you working for?
Yeah.
What's all the money for? You're not going to take it with you.
No.
And don't like waste it away either, but it's there to be enjoyed. It's there to like give you those experiences, to go and have fun and help you achieve things and become successful. And I'm just like, people just go to work, come home, go to work, come home, and you're going to die. And that is not me. That is not my life.
I can't. Like,
I can't. And I'm not going to be fucking complaining about life either. Like, we're going to stop that. Like, mm-mm.
I mean, I think that honestly, a lot of it comes back to we want to live life fully.
Yeah.
We want to be, we don't have like huge circles of people that we talk to on a daily basis. We don't really have time to gossip either. Like most of B and I's conversations are all about self-development or, you know, working on
just self-improvement.
Business
opportunities.
We level each other up, and of course, like we have our delulu and our spiritual moments, but I think the end of the day is that we have a lot of ideas, and then we typically execute on a lot of what we come up with. And so we wanted a website. We sat there one weekend, we designed our entire and built out our website. We wanted a podcast. We put together pieces of it, and I mean, like we got the right.
I feel like me and you, when we set our minds to things, it's because we weren't given the tools to do it when we were younger, because we weren't seen or heard, and now we're like, you're going to see us and hear us, and we're going to do everything in our power, and that's why you see us and hear us today, because we are not. Our personalities now are not to be hidden behind the scenes.
No.
They're meant to be in the forefront.
No, and I think also what to like life has always taught me now is we both have voices. We both have experiences, and we're meant to be heard and we're meant to make a difference.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of times, like in my past, until I started working on myself, I would put the other person's needs before mine. And I would help them shine and help them work their way up.
Yeah.
But what I realized too is no more. Like after being with myself, like being by myself a long time, I think that having this relationship with me and protecting my peace is very sacred. And also, I'm okay. I don't care. I don't care what people say behind my back. I don't care what people, judge me on. I don't care. You can say whatever you want. If you don't like a certain thing I say, you don't like my voice, you don't like my hair, whatever, I don't care. Because I am happy with myself and I worked on it. And I also implement and I have strong boundaries in place. And I'm not afraid of being, a cycle breaker, a generational curse breaker, or whatever it may be. And I think these in that same boat is like, we're no longer tucked away. This is who we are.
Yeah, I feel like absolutely, especially like with the being married twice, divorced nearly twice. It's just like I don't care for the. That's why it took me so long to leave Jasmine's dad because of the judgment. And now I'm just like, I don't give a flying monkeys what anyone thinks about it. You're not living my life. You're not in it. You don't see it. You don't experience it. You don't know the trauma that people go through. So I don't care.
And I think a lot of times too, like when I was younger, like, you know, when people were upset with me, I thought that maybe I was a problem. But what healing, what healing has taught me is that being misunderstood is not the same thing as being wrong. And then sometimes growth sounds like disrespect, especially to the people who benefited from your silence, people who underestimated you, the people who deemed you as invisible, deemed you as less than.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think that for me, realizing that this is how they see me is not the reality of the situation.
No.
And it's not. And so I'm like, I don't need those type of people. I mean, if they are like a family or something, it's like I set boundaries and I get less in my access to them.
Yeah, I just put people at arm's length now.
Yeah,
like you don't get to interact with me how you used to. It's just not going to be the same. So, Kit, what's something people misunderstand about black sheep daughters?
I think that people think that black sheep daughters are attention seekers. I think that that's what the people think. It's like, oh, she's acting out for attention.
Yeah.
And I don't think that's the case. I think a lot of us,
for the most, I think a little bit, because maybe not acting out, but we do things to get attention. I mean, we did when we were younger.
I think in a sense, I think like I would go out to the clubs because I wanted attention from guys. I would do things, you're right, I would go seek. But I think honestly,
I was rebellious.
Guys, I was so rebellious too. And I think honestly, like, I think I was rebellious where I started using my voice.
No, I did other stupid shit, but yeah, I was rebellious. I mean, not stupid. I mean, I had a boyfriend and then I married him at 19.
I guess I was more rebellious than you.
I mean, but growing up in that small town where my family was known and I was just like brought up with fear. That was like, Bobna did some fucked up shit. She had a boyfriend. I mean, my dad caught us and then he slapped me in the face.
You know, I just think about like that. It's like we're taught not to date, and then when we dated behind their parents' back, and then
we're raised in fear,
and then certain,
and then but then you're raising shady children, and then you're the black sheep. What do you expect then?
But then it's like, okay, once you get to a certain age, you're like asking the kid, when are you getting married? So it's like, make that make sense. So you didn't want me to date,
and now
you want me to get married. So like, make that make sense.
That's fucking dumb.
It doesn't make any sense. I think that if you are the black sheep of the family, I think that it can be a very beautiful thing.
Absolutely.
Because you chose you and you chose to work on developing who you are. You chose your voice. You chose to embrace like your artistic side, your creativity. I mean, most of all, your power.
Yeah. So Kit has spoken about in many podcasts about boundaries. And I feel like when you're the black sheep and you try to implement the boundary, it comes across that you don't love your family. And the actual fact is because you love them, you need to place that boundary in place. And isn't that so fucked up? But it's so like, there needs to be a boundary. So you set the boundary. And I don't know, your parents are like, oh, no. you don't love us, you hate us, blah, 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 blah. But in actual fact, that boundary is in place because you do love them. But more importantly, you love yourself.
Yeah.
And it's so crazy. And then you're like, and if you don't understand the value of boundaries and you're still under their control, because again, it's all about control and you don't like that control and you're the black sheep, they're just like, oh no, she's a troubled one. You don't love us. And then you go, okay, forget about it then. We'll just go back to you controlling me.
I feel like
Because that's what feels safe.
Yeah, and then you made a good point. I think that in the beginning, especially when you're working on yourselves, like boundaries can be the hardest thing to implement.
Yeah.
And I remember I hated implementing boundaries. I'm like,
I mean,
do I
it's
have
horrible.
to? And I would feel so nervous and so sick to my stomach. But after a while, like, I think everybody gets pushed to a certain point where you're just like, I can't tolerate this anymore. And once you get pushed to that point you can't tolerate is when you start implementing boundaries, and then your boundaries become easier because you're like, this is my say, this is where I draw the line in the sand. Either you can live by it or I'll cut you out for a period of time.
Yeah, and then we can revisit it.
And we can revisit. And I think that that's you standing up for you.
Yeah.
So we talked a lot about healing today, and healing honestly does not always mean that you have to reconcile with people.
No.
And no, it's more about you living in peace, you sleeping peacefully.
Yes. Any kind of healing is about being at peace with yourself because, again, fuck everything else and everyone.
I hate having those phone calls that I get anxious about answering, or oh my gosh, I dread about talking to the person, or
yeah, I mean, there's only one person that I ever felt like that about,
or having a conversation that I have to I have to write my notes in my notes app and like recite it and make sure I'm saying, or going on chat and being like, hey, what do I say to this person?
Yeah, but if that's the case, that person is not meant to be in your life, and if they are someone that does have influence over your life, like that they're a parent or like a sibling or something, then you just need to be straight up and honest with them. Be like, yo,
I don't have that problem anymore, you guys. I say peacefully. I don't have to worry about any kind of stress like that, and I love it. But if you do, I would recommend really working on and identifying what the root cause is, and looking at boundaries and figuring out ways. And maybe you don't want to go to therapy. I mean, I honestly think that everybody needs some. I say this in every one of our episodes, but everyone needs some sort of self-development, whether it's therapy, life coaching, whatever works for you. You should go. There's a lot of different forms, and this is not a sponsored ad by any way, but when you're ready to start working on yourself, I think it's going to be life-changing.
This isn't something that is in our notes, but we've spoken about some things in our lives that made us feel, or that we are the black sheep daughters. But here, like, I got married at 9. I had a boyfriend, went through drama with him. Growing up, I was very argumentative because I always wanted to know why we do things. And I was always given the answer of just because.
Yeah, same.
Or stop asking too many questions.
Or joke.
Yeah, like, I mean, okay. But inside it would always rattle my mind. And then I got married to said boyfriend at 19. So I'm the eldest daughter born on both sides of the family. So there was a lot of pressure on me. I didn't have any older sisters to help me or guide me. So I felt like I fucked it up for everybody else. But in actuality, all the other girls got all the freedom. and I got none. And then I had Jasmine at 21, and I left her dad at 23. So again, black sheep, because I chose my freedom over pretty much, I would have been dead, I think, because I couldn't handle that. And just, and then just constant like pushing the boundaries. And now I'm just like very happy and content. So it's like not all doom and gloom, but I cut people out of my life very easily now. I don't even give people the opportunity to place boundaries. I feel like, especially adults, I feel like if you, as a grown up, you know what you're saying and you know what you are doing and you know the implications of what you say and what you do. And it's as simple as that. And what you say cannot be taken back.
No.
What you do cannot be undone. So if you've hurt somebody or you've, like, there's damage done, and I bear witness to that, I will cut you off. I'm not going to give you an opportunity to speak for yourself anymore. I don't want an explanation. Your actions and what you said are an explanation enough. And that's why I'm also black sheep now, because I just don't give a fuck anymore about holding up society or family standards. Just don't give a shit.
Yeah, I quit caring a long time ago too. I think that for me, I was always judged by the way I looked. So whether it was when I was little and I looked different than my said family, the rest of the people, or I just didn't fit in, or I was curvy, or whatever the fuck. Like, I had a lot of judgment, a lot of different judgment from a lot of different people. And I remember also, it's like, I like when I was really good friend. I mean, I'm still like one of my best friends. Like when we were little girls, I love makeup, you guys. Like I've always been into beauty. I've always been into beauty products. So I play around with makeup, and I remember that growing up, people judged me because I wore makeup, and they were always like putting down like I was like, I was like a slut or whatever the making. And they would make all these comments about that, or like, oh, she's a bad influence. And I remember my friends, like entire family, like besides her parents, they love me, but like her aunts and stuff, they would all like her cousins and everybody judge me. And they would think that I was like the bad one. And guys, I was far from the bad one. I was actually kind of prudish, and like I was like one of those people that I would go out and party and have fun, but I would never do anything. And I got a lot of judgment from people thinking the opposite about me. And it's funny because I actually got an apology from her family now, because her nieces and stuff are into makeup. And they're like, "Oh, we were wrong to judge." Like, kid, after all of what she did, like, she was actually really good and she was there for you for everything, and we're sorry for we judged her.
I mean,
And and it's funny because I mean, I honestly don't care. Like, people have said a lot of things behind my back. People have said a lot of things, made judgments about me before. Like, I've had a lot of people tell me like, "Oh, I don't want to be your I don't want to come up to you because you look like a bitch," or whatever the fact or the matter is. And at that time, I was like one of the people who was striving to be like kind and good, and I saw goodness in everyone. And I think that just being judged your entire life, you get to the point where you just don't care anymore. Like, I'm at the point where I really don't care. And if something's bothering me, I will say it to your face. Like,
she will say it.
Be seeing me say exactly what's up to people
With her nails too, like,
yeah, I'm like, look,
okay. If your hand does this at you, you know you fucked up.
yeah, and I just think that, and then I'll just be done.
Yeah. Yeah, just be done. Like, fuck it.
I don't hold on to things. I don't care.
Yeah, I don't revisit it. I'm like, you fucked up. Bye.
And I don't
Close
have
that door.
capacity.
But literally none.
I don't have capacity. For me, I'm filled. I'm like filled. I have like, my professional, I have my professional organizations, I have my friends, I have my priorities. I'm at full capacity. So if you're trying to start, I don't have time for you. I don't have time for that. And I think that one thing and like, I don't think I told you this during this entire episode, is like, there was a part of my childhood that I wouldn't speak. I was with my sister and she would be the one that would speak. But then it was like very manipulative too, because like, I want this. And I was super shy and I was so quiet that I wouldn't speak. But then she would talk, but then she would say that she wanted it, so she would get it, and then I would be like left in like the dark. And it's crazy because of all these experiences. Like there's so many different experiences in my life where I didn't use my voice, but now it's like I use my voice. My voice is powerful, and I know I'm powerful. So I think if you're a black sheep, you may not like the color black, whatever it may be, change the color and embrace that you are different, you are original, you have your own mindset, and that is beautiful.
Absolutely. Just if you've ever felt like the outsider,
yeah,
of your own family, just so you know, you're not alone.
Nope.
I know in the moment you do, but you're not, because for me, I feel like, as much as looking back, I wish things were different, but also I'm glad that it was like that. Because now I'm like, bye.
I feel like I agree.
Like if it was the other way, like not so much favorite, but I was given the attention, I was given the opportunities, I was given the answers, and I was given the like freedom, and I didn't have to push the boundaries, and I didn't have to come across as difficult. Then who knows where I would have been now?
I agree. I feel like my personality and my perseverance comes from the fact of me proving my work to me.
Yeah.
At first, it was like proving it to other people, but then I was like, at some point, it's like, no,
I don't even give a shit.
No, and it's like me proving it to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's what pushes me. And then like always my limits. I'm like, okay, I passed this one. Like, let me go to the next goal. Let me go to the next goal. And it's because of what I went through. So, I mean, you have to just take what you've been given and create a whole, like, you know how they say, you turn your lemons into lemonade, turn it into like lemon meringue, lemon squares, lemon juice. I don't know, like the whole lemon shop, okay? That's all you gotta do.
That's it then.
I mean, I really don't believe that you were a black sheep. Like, I don't think that, that term, but I do think that you were the one, as B and I mentioned in our stories, that was brave enough to stop pretending.
Mm-hmm.
The one who disrupts that pattern, and the person who changes their future. And you should never apologize for being you.
I'm never going to apologize.
Mm-mm.
Unless I've done you some form of harm intentionally, I'm not going to apologize for any of my actions.
No.
Mm-mm. No. And just so you know, you were never too much.
Mm-mm.
It doesn't matter what anybody else says.
No.
You need to have that conversation with yourself, and you need to tell yourself you're not too much. Because when you start telling yourself that, you start shrinking, you become smaller, and then people start having more control over you.
Yeah.
We're not doing that anymore. You take up the space and you tell yourself you're not too much.
Preach,
you can
girl.
be more.
Preach.
And you're carrying what everyone else refused to acknowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So tell yourself that too, that they don't know any better, right? Or they do know and they're refusing it. Then that's on them. It's not on you. And paying the price of being said black sheep may be loneliness, right? And actually, it's not maybe, it is. It is a bloody lonely journey. you might be surrounded by family, by friends, by colleagues, but when you're the black sheep, you're alone.
Yeah.
Right? But you know what that means? You're going to push through and reap that freedom. Right? And that reward, right? That reward is coming. Because we have to fight to be seen, to be heard, to get that achievement. It's hard.
Yeah.
You know, some people just get certain things handed to them, or they just have it easy. Might not easy, but the path for their life is goes more swimmingly than yours. But when you get to that end, who are you going to thank? You're going to thank yourself because you did it on your own. And fucking hell, we both know.
Yeah, I mean,
ain't no one help. No, ain't nobody hold our hand. No.
I mean, everything that we've gotten in our life, like we worked for it. And I
Yeah.
think that it's given us that we're able to share our journey and our experiences. And it also opens up a whole new avenue for us because we believe we're capable of more now.
Absolutely. And I'm not just going to be, oh, I've achieved this and I can't achieve any more. I'm going to break another barrier. I'm going to go break another generational thing. Like, I need to make sure that for the next generations to come, that shittiness is not passed on to them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so you need to just understand that your freedom and what you're fighting for needs, like, it's worth protecting. So there's going to be times that you may feel like giving in, or like I said earlier, like, where you place a boundary and then there's always that comeback, like, are you being combative, and you and then you don't know how to understand that situation. You go, okay, never mind then, and then you become small. Don't.
No, don't become small anymore.
No, because guess what's going to happen? You're going to go back to square one, and not even square one. You're going like 100 steps back. Again, most of our podcasts, it comes back to the same old cliche. This is one life, one lifetime.
Yeah.
Because you can go to sleep today and not wake up tomorrow. And or you could go to sleep today and wake up diagnosed with some illness. What are you going to do? You are a yes man. You are being controlled. You are being coerced to become a certain thing when you know that's not what you were meant for. You were meant for achieving greatness. And so fucking be it if you become a black sheep. I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that in the end of the day, I think that if you are a black sheep, then you're here for a greater purpose.
Absolutely. You're a hero.
Yeah.
So, no. No. So, you're never too much, and stop telling yourself that you are, and understand that your freedom is 100% worth protecting.
And your peace.
100%. Protect that above all else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, understand, being a black sheep doesn't mean you're the problem. It's you're the black sheep because there is a problem.
And I kind of like to think of myself as like the sparkly sheep.
Well, she would, because she's fucking unicorn, but I'm the black sheep for obvious reasons. Because I love me some black.
I mean, I do think that
she's a unicorn sheep.
I love.
Oh my god, we should make you a unicorn sheep.
I know, I love it.
Chat. We get chat to
make chat, make me a unicorn.
And a black cat sheep.
Oh my god,
what would that look like? A cat's face on a black on a black sheep.
Totally.
All right, we'll figure it out. We'll put it on the post.
But as always, we know this episode was deep.
Yeah, it was deep, and let us know your thoughts, because I know there's many more black sheeps out there, and it doesn't necessarily mean if you're the eldest daughter, the middle daughter, the youngest daughter.
None of that.
No, it doesn't matter if you're from a South Asian community. You can be from any.
You don't necessarily have to be a daughter either. You can be a son. You can be whatever.
I mean, we don't have experiences of being the son, so we can't share that with you. But
We do understand about not being seen.
Just black
and
sheeps
being
in general,
taken as,
man.
like
Black sheep unite. So yeah.
yeah, but we're sending you guys lots of love.
And let us know, like I said, what you think about this episode. And don't forget to follow us over on our social media platforms and go visit our website. It's teatimewithbeingkit.com. And we will see you on the next episode.
Bye.
Love you guys.